anyway, look, we're going to go ahead and get into this video. You know we got an intro, though. Listen, I know yesterday I didn't intro some of the videos. It kind of broke my heart, but, like, it's okay. It's okay. It's a learning experience, right? But let's go ahead and let's intro this real quick, all right? Let's go. Yo, right here. Right here in the small box. Right here in the small box. Welcome back to Single City Reactions, only on the Flex in my network. I am Flex. Welcome to the channel. I feel like Flex will be easy for y'all to remember instead of me saying a handful like original anomaly, but it's what it is. You want to add me on Instagram, that's my Instagram page, cool. But look, we're here again, another Thursday, another live. Thank you for everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody here. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. We got a video today. This one is by my humble opinion. Okay, this video is titled Kendrick Lamar's pgLang just proved it's bigger than music. I'm excited because I feel like this is my jurisdiction almost. I'm not like a tech wizard kind of person, but at the same time, I'm very knowledgeable in that space. And then mixing that with like the experience and the knowledge that I have in marketing as well, and of course in the music industry, I feel like I'm going to have a good time talking about this. So make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below if you're not here in the live. If you're here in the live, just stay engaged. That's all I ask. I just love seeing people engaged in the live. So shout out to every single one of y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this video. All right, let's go.
What's up? Welcome back to the channel. So I got one more for y'all today, man. In this video, I came across an article talking about Kendrick Lamar and pgLang and that company and where it ranks worldwide amongst other companies. So it's very interesting, man. Very interesting. So when we think of these music artists, right, we just think of rappers, right? They drop their albums, go on tour, you know, so on and so forth. The usual, how they make their money. Some rappers go on to start their own labels, but most of them kind of focus just within the confines of the industry. You know, I seen and Nolan reacted to this. But I seen the clip of academics and Whack 100 going back and forth about Kanye and Kendrick, and academics talking about Kanye did all this innovation and Kendrick basically saying Kendrick don't compare, right? But when we talk innovation in the music industry, I think what academics was saying, while not fully true in the first place, is a very myopic view of innovation when it comes to artists and companies in the music industry. And this article just goes to show that Kendrick is actually has a much broader vision of what
innovation depends and is based on the eyes of the beholder. I'm not gonna lie, because realistically both of them have been innovative. It's just that Kanye West has been innovative outside of music with fashion and tech. You know, I'm not gonna lie, the man's a genius, but he's a little out there, you know. But listen, his accolades and everything that he's built, hey, it's justified. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But for Kendrick now, he's been innovative within music. The rap beef already proves it. Let's keep it a buck. Like, the range, Kendrick's range in music is frightening because it's not narrow. It's like a LA highway. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing but lanes going back and forth, regardless of how you see it. There's just too many lanes, right? So that's his level of innovation. But to hear Kanye say that just shows that he's not really thinking too much about music right now. He's thinking about other lanes that are outside of music. But here's the thing now. As much as I agree with Kanye over here, we also got to be critical too. Because, like, hip-hop, music, the industry in general needs a level up. It's begging for a level up. And Kanye would have been that person to make that happen. But because his mind is just so all over the place, I feel like he's fighting like 17 different battles at once. And he don't even know where to land. You know? Yeah, exactly. Kendrick said his life is not just rap, for real. And we're starting to see that slowly. We're slowly starting to see that. We already saw Kendrick act. He already got the acting thing out of the way. Okay, if any commercials that you see him in, or if you go ahead and watch Power, the episode, that one episode we have, that is an unforgettable episode, you know. So like just seeing Kendrick in that light, just seeing him act, just seeing him not be himself, like, nah, bro, that's very innovative. Absolutely. You know, but let's keep going with the video. We're just getting started with this.
How he wants to not only impact music, but the world through not only his talent, but pgLang. And so this gives us a little more insight into his and Dave Free's vision for the company and how they want to, you know, have that type of, how they want to impact people in the world through what they do through that company. So having said that, let's get over here and look at this article real quick. All right, this is Afrotech, but they're writing this article based on Fast Company's top 2025 most innovative companies. Now, if y'all don't know who Fast Company is, I know that magazine because I used to actually read that when I was locked up. Fast Company is a big business magazine. And I'll show y'all right here real quick. So Fast Company, the world's 50 most innovative companies of 2025. And we're going to go through that list in a second, but let me get back over here. All right, so pgLang and Kendrick Lamar named the 2025 most innovative company by Fast Company as it looks to shape the future of tech and...
Yo, real quick, y'all follow stocks? Because I'm not going to lie, most of the time when I was watching, I was just paying attention to the run by board over here. I dabble with the stocks every now and then. I like to see what's going on in the market, but, you know, just FYI type shit.
Media. So once again, when you talk about impact, when you talk about innovation, it ain't just about sound and music or what new beats and what new type of things you can bring as far as that goes. That's one aspect of it. But another aspect of it is a much broader outlook, right? Because all these rappers up till now really get stuck in this same hamster wheel, right? But Dave and Kendrick seem to be looking beyond that and take their impact beyond the confines of just the music industry per se. So look, companies are increasingly blending storytelling, commerce, and technology in today's rapidly evolving media landscape. One such company is pgLang, the multidisciplinary agency founded in 2020 by Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free. While it has often been described as a creative agency, pgLang operates across multiple industries and platforms, from music and film to brand partnerships and live events, positioning itself as a hybrid model within the broader creative economy. And so that's what I said by having a much broader vision, right? It ain't just raps and songs and tours and things.
So it's almost like PG. God. Yo, control your youth, man. What's wrong with these people? Anyway, it's almost like pgLang is branching out in ways where, like, nobody would really think about when it comes to looking at a music or just a label in general, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. Kendrick and Dave seem like a once in a lifetime team. Absolutely, it's just two great minds coming together to build and create a lane for just innovation, right? To see them branch out in all these different areas is doing what a lot of other labels cannot do. There's a lot of labels that put themselves in positions where they unfortunately just have to be a label based on the people they work with, based on the company they keep, based on the people they keep, or like, you know, like the kind of people that are around the building, you know, and we already know what I'm talking about. When we get into this kind of business now, like, you gotta present yourself in a way where you can be marketable on all aspects. Remember when I was talking about all those lanes, like the LA lanes, and you got all these different lanes you can like cut into, whatever, going back and forth. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. You want to be able to like fluently, freely cut through these lanes with no issues. And the way that Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free have themselves set up is the ideal way to do it. That's just business. When you're in that kind of like realm, there's times when like you gotta put whatever you know, whatever you be about to the side. Because yeah, it might be cool to be or move like this. If you're in rooms where people wear suit and ties, you cannot come in there as you are. You're gonna have to switch up. That's why a lot of people be talking about there's a time and place for everything. And right now, there's a time and place where we need to make a change. It's interesting. I'm not surprised this is happening. But the only thing that I wish for is that more labels did this. Not saying that you have to abandon street culture, because street culture is where, that's what keeps hip hop. Don't abandon it, but there's just a time and place where things need to get done. Once you understand that, then you can move freely. It's gonna take some patience and time, and you're not always gonna get what you want, but you're gonna get what you're deserved at the end of the road. Remember, they have grown up together, so they have been able to develop a much deeper understanding of each other's minds and person than the brilliant minds only coming together as adults. That is priceless. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Sometimes that childhood relationship, that friendship, this is how you truly utilize it. If y'all really friends together, if y'all really cared about each other, if y'all really grew up with each other, doing things like this should be effortless. It's cool when you see other brothers come together and do what they need to do to make it happen for the culture. That's why I always look towards earn your leisure. But we don't have a lot of groups like that no more. I'm sure there's more out there, but they're not substantial. They're making moves, but everybody's still growing in a sense. And then you just got niggas. You know what I'm saying? You got grown men making things happen or trying to make things happen, and then you got niggas just doing nigga shit. See what I'm talking about? Time and place? Anyway, we're only it's only 3 minutes in. Let's keep going.
Things like that. They said from music and film to brand partnerships and live events, positioning itself as a hybrid model within the broader creative economy. So they're going beyond just rap and all that, right? And again, this is the top 20, the top 50 most innovative companies in the world. So this is Fast Company ranking the top 50, and they're number 15. I don't know if I said that yet, but they're number 15 out of 50.
What's poppin',
Based on a previous Afrotech report, pgLang describes itself as a multilingual company, referencing its spoken language component and ability to communicate across forms: music, television, film, books, podcasts, and visual media. The company's creative outputs reflect this flexibility, leveraging cross-platform strategies to distribute content that resists traditional industry categorization. That's a lot right there, but just think about what they're saying. Again, this ain't just about rap. That's why you got these things like how they designed the Super Bowl, the pop out, all of these things, but they're going beyond that. Music, television, film, books, podcasts, visual media. So they want to be more of a media company. They don't just want to be.
I won't even want to. You can definitely say media company, but I feel like labeling them as an entertainment company would be more substantial than just a media company. Because media, when I think media, I'm thinking buying and selling media, which is absolutely valid. But for the lanes that are going, because when you mention television and everything else like that, I'm seeing it more as overall as an entertainment industry, like an entertainment hub. It's not just music anymore. I feel like they got music on lock so well that they're able to branch out in all these other lanes freely because they take care of this one like it's their child, So they're able to go to TV. They're able to create their own ads or whatever. They're able to what else to say? Film, to go in all these different lanes. That's my take. I feel like entertainment would be better as media, because I see media as I see it a certain way. They was squabbling Prius and blood, Pyrus and blood. Wow, I said Prius. Prius is crazy. They was squabbling Pyrus and bloods. I won't disagree at all. But you got to think about it though. I know there's a bunch of Bloods and Crips out there that are in their 70s still gangbanging and all that. But yo, a lot of dudes be retiring around like 30, 35 for real, bro. When it comes to the streets. When you really sit and think about it, a lot of dudes be retiring at like 35 or so. So, hey, it's what it is. The dude with the long ass name. I've been here long and you're already working my nerves. That's crazy. Yo, Tiff, you kill me for real.
A record label. And so I think that they see it as the traditional way that people have done things, artists, right? Creating their own labels. That's small thinking. Bruh. They're thinking too small, and they're still thinking within the
run that back again. Run that back. I want to hear that.
The traditional way that people have done things, artists, right? Creating their own labels. That's small thinking. They're thinking too small, and they're still thinking within the confines of the industry, subjugating themselves to the record labels, right? And so I think they want to get out of that, and that's why
that was well said. The whole thinking small thing. Oh, KB Goes Live just dropped the video. I'm watching that after. Because that's about Adam 22. And I got words for him. But that was so well said, though. Because you have all these, you know, as you get older, as you age as a rapper, the ideal goal is like, oh, I want to create my own label, which is cool. But, like, nah, you're right. You're still thinking within the confines of the music industry. You're not branching out. You're not taking your own skill set and saying, I got the power now, let's go do this. No, you're just keeping it close to home, which is cool. But sometimes you gotta go outside. You gotta open that door, you know. So I like what he's saying right there.
They're going with a broader vision of a media company, a multilingual media company, as they just said. All right, so let's keep going. This approach earned the company recognition from Fast Company, which named pgLang one of the world's 50 most innovative companies of 2025, placing it at number 15. The ranking cited the company's integration of music, branded storytelling, and live events into a cohesive cultural ecosystem. In 2024, pgLang produced a series of projects contributing to its visibility in entertainment and tech-adjacent sectors. One of the most notable releases was Kendrick Lamar's single, Not Like Us, accompanied by a music video co-directed by Lamar and Free. The video was filmed in Compton and used minimum production in favor of neighborhood-based visual storytelling. The song went on to top the Billboard Hot 100 and broke Spotify's record for the most streamed rap song in a single day, Fast Company reported. And so now we really get more insight into why Kendrick has been so involved in all of this production and all of these visuals and everything.
I see what y'all did. It's so wicked that they put that there, or they use that as their main statement or their main selling point. You're kind of evil for that, because through our eyes we just saw it as like, this is a rap beef. You know, in this rap beef, he did this, and this. He made a song. He it went back and forth. Drake put out this song and this song, which made Kendrick put out this song and this song. And when Drake put on this song, Kendrick immediately after put out this song. And after Kendrick put out that song, he put out this banger. And the reason why it did so well, because of, if you look at all the other songs in the past that started this is the one that came out on top. This is the one that won. And the reason why it won is because of these different visuals that you see within the video. So when you see this, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, no, it makes sense that he won. You know, he is the better rapper. He has way more creativity. And he was innovative at the time by keeping it traditional, by dropping the track, letting the track do what it needs to do. And by capitalizing on the track, you drop a video that goes with it, instead of doing it the other way around. Because usually when you drop the video and then you drop the track, it's not going to work, Drake. But mama, that was wrong. Now, he didn't need that jab. He didn't need that jab for real. But my point is like, the reason why I say it's wicked, because like I said, through our eyes, it's just a timeline. But the way they presented it as a presentation to probably like some Silicon Valley people. And then they look at it, because remember, people in Silicon Valley, they don't even know what's going on in the rap world for real. They just turn on their TV, they go on YouTube, and they watch. They don't do nothing. So if you present it in a way where it's like, look, we're really creating innovation by doing this, this, and this, and we're trying to elevate and reach new heights so that we can eventually branch off and create a music label into something more than just a music label. You know, presenting it as that, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I never really thought of that. You know, it's not a bad idea. That's why I say it's wicked. I wouldn't disagree, Tiff. Or time. Let's keep going.
Like that up until this point. You know, hey man, who knows? One day, maybe Drake and OVO will hire out the service of Kendrick's media company. They should have used them for that damn video. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I digress. Shortly after the song's release, pgLang produced The Pop Out, a concert held on Juneteenth, 2024 at the Kia Forum in Inglewood. The sold-out event was live-streamed through a partnership with Amazon, making it available globally via Prime Video and Twitch. The concert featured a curated lineup and extended pgLang's multimedia strategy into real-time, large-scale public performance. And so we
remember when people were wondering and asking, why does Kendrick feel like he need to do all this? Why is it necessary that he needs to ever like go through all these hoops to show? Because everyone's assuming he's doing this as a nail in the coffin. Like, oh, I won. Let me capitalize on how I won, which is valid. It's true. It's right. But watch this now. All at the same time, this is all a part of a one big presentation. He was getting his chips together to present it to the people that wouldn't understand it. And he's a big name. Kendrick Lamar is a big name. So a lot of people would listen, especially since he's the one that took down the other big name. They went head to head and his name came out on top. So he's going to have way more clout and have a lot more eyes on him, which is going to bring a lot more interest. And by doing all this and packaging it in one big presentation, he gonna get what he want. He gonna get. I'm not saying that he's gonna get what, like, you know, he's gonna get like blessings and offerings, but you know, go into those rooms presented a certain kind of way. You're gonna get what you want. What's good, Raw Talent? What's popping? Have you ever thought OVO was working for me? Nah, bro. Nah, bro. You know the vibe. Why did Drake throw his sandal like that? Yo, remember when he did that? That was for steak, because apparently that was a commercial for like their gambling website. Keep that in mind. All of this has nothing to do with Drake. I know I'm random, but with what I say, nah, you good. Nah, you good. Long name guy is crazy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, nah, like, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Drake, but like, it's just based. I don't know exactly how they presented it in those rooms, but you can kind of tell what they used in the presentation. Showing that, oh, we can do concerts. Look, we just did a concert over here. And this concert sold out. That's why I'm saying it's wicked. Because you're using what you did to your advantage. That's so interesting. Why didn't any YM artists speak out at all in Drake's defense? Nobody says shit. Just curious. Why? Because, and I spoke about this before, because Young Money. So I spoke about this before. A lot of friendships in the music industry, a lot of them are contractual. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of those friendships are contractual. They're not real friendships. You understand how easy it is to look like a friend? What's good, my guy? What's popping? What you saying? Yo, look at you. You looking good, my boy. Let me dust your shoulder off. This man's looking sick. Yo, you can't mess with him. You better respect this man over here for real. You understand how easy it is to be a friend? Especially if money is involved. That's the easiest thing to be in the world. I swear to you. It's not hard. But there's a difference in between being a friend and being real in the industry. Anybody can be your friend. But you know what they say, you only keep real niggas around you until they're not real no more. I hope that makes sense. You know, pgLang was in the works before this beat. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't disagree with you, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of wicked because they're utilizing events in the beef to kind of boost themselves, which is what you're supposed to do. But, like, the way I see it, I'm like, bro. y'all are slick for the way you're presenting it. Because we know how this went down. It was like a big moment in time, but when you look back at it, I'm like, bro, this never really needed to happen. You know, a lot of us are saying that this really didn't need to happen at all, but that's how I'm seeing it, at least. It is what it is. Let's keep going, though.
See, again, these things were the brainchilds of both Kendrick and Dave. And this is big time, man. This is big time visionary shit, if you ask me, man. Yep. Again, they're going outside of the confines of the traditional setup. Become an artist, you know, make your money, get your...
Oh, we got a net. What the hell is this?
Build your reputation, start your own label, find your own artist, watch, rinse, and repeat, but all along you're still subjugated to the bigger labels and everything. Kendrick and Dave seem to be getting themselves outside of that, man, and don't want to sit up under the thumb of those larger labels. Instead, they want to look at it as having partnerships with them, right? In early 2025, pgLang expanded its creative footprint by co-producing the Super Bowl halftime show, headlined by Kendrick Lamar at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The performance, which featured appearances by SZA, Samuel L. Jackson, Serena Williams, and DJ Mustard, drew a record-breaking 133.5 million viewers, making it the most-watched halftime show in history, as Newsweek reported. pgLang led the production and sound design, applying its signature cross-disciplinary approach to one of the world's largest live broadcast stages, further solidifying its role in high-impact, multi-platform cultural events. Again, we see why Kendrick took the approach that he did with the Super Bowl. This was all a pgLang production.
The Super Bowl was given, though. Let's be honest. The Super Bowl is given, and what Tiff said is, but it was gonna come out like this. Rather, it was a beef or not. It's valid. It's valid. Like here, I don't disagree with you because the beef was inevitable. We just never knew when it was gonna happen. Because everyone thinks Kendrick was just gonna turn the other cheek all the time. Nah, bro. The man said, you know what? I'm not gonna say that, but you know, he said, like, you know, never mind. Let's go. He's gonna say, let's do it. Let's go. Let's pop. You know. Then he popped out and showed niggas. Simple. Nah, the Super Bowl halftime show was amazing. Let's be honest. And also, like, a lot of people never clocked it. It literally looked like theater. It looked like a theater play for real. And remember, a lot of people in those kind of industries, they like theater. Listen, the lawsuit is a whole lot of back and forths. It's a whole lot of just nonsense put together on pieces of paper. You just gotta be mindful. Or just take a little, you know, just read a little bit. Just take some notes and understand why this is happening. I understand why this is happening. What's good, V? What's poppin', V? How you doing? Just go asking how old are you. That's crazy. Yo, that's why Drake is furious. He was going to do the same, use his own win as leverage to raise contracts, as you should, but his was an L. Yo, and to what V is saying, I 1000% agree with V, because we know for a fact whatever is happening right now, if Drake would have won, it would have went the opposite way, minus the lawsuit though. Right? But dude got lazy. Dude got lazy and thought, nah, this is good enough. Bro, this man's been rapping with mediocre bars for years. And because of conditioning, people started to think, yo, this guy can really rap for real. Forgetting how rappers used to actually rap. Bro, when you go back and look at his bars, Bro, they're like kindergartner, like elementary school bars. Making bars for everybody to understand. Nah. Sometimes you need to make some bars to make people think. And that's what Kendrick did. It's crazy to me, bro. This wasn't about Aubrey initially. It was about Drake and what he represents. He was on top. So he had to be the example. It only became about Aubrey as well when Whitney and Dave were pulled in. Fact. Absolute fact. Because he doesn't understand the rules to a rap battle. This guy used the same thing that he did against the person that he lost to and expected to win because he didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was. This man says he studied rap battles for a living. You might have studied the rap battle, but you never studied your opponent. And your opponent studied you. All the way down to the point where they took psychology classes in college to break you down and then try to build you back up. But because you're so much of a girl, you don't want to listen respectfully. You know? You get Robux ass bars. That is hilarious, man. That is so hilarious. All right, let's keep going, though. There's a lot of video we got to get through. Is he actually? Is he actually, though? What's good, Jamel? What's popping?
The numbers came in. I mean, just imagine how this builds and what this does for the reputation of that company, of a company
Rap is
that
really
wants
dead,
to be
huh?
in cross media
It's not dead.
disciplines and wants to be a part of marketing and all of these types of things and creation of shows like this, right? This lends credibility to that, because if he's willing to put his own shows and things like that on the line and show people what can happen when you work with a pgLang and Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free, I mean, I think they proved the concept, right? Up to this point, between the pop out and the Super Bowl, you no longer need a proof of concept when it comes to pgLang at this point. pgLang has also expanded into brand storytelling. The company has produced campaigns for Cash App, including one where billionaire investor Ray Dalio delivered investment advice that Kendrick Lamar translated into more accessible terms. Another featured rapper, Doechii, discusses personal finance from a barbershop chair, a scene designed to situate financial literacy in everyday cultural settings. These branded projects combine direct messaging with non-traditional advertising formats, focusing on cultural relevance rather than standard commercial scripts. And I didn't even know that they had done campaigns for Cash App. So they already got some good partnerships with some big companies. According to pgLang co-founder Dave Free, the company applies a development method he refers to as break and repeat, a process that involves refining ideas through critical iteration before public release. Once there are no more holes to poke, I feel comfortable putting it into the universe, Free explained in the Billboard report. This methodology is consistent with startup culture principles where prototyping and feedback loops are central to innovation.
Wow. This whole paragraph right here, that whole paragraph right there that's money. That's money. Holy. See, that's what I'm talking about with the innovation. These are the things that you need to do. Sometimes you're going to have to blend different things to create something new. And he's literally describing that as a process for how they create. I wonder what they got in the tuck. I'm actually curious as to what they got in the tuck. What's good, Quickie? What's popping? Okay, so you think hip-hop is dead. It really is three main topics, Drake, Kendrick, and... Nah. Hip-hop is more than that. See, that was what I was talking about a while ago when it comes to the people at the top. I don't need to make it about Toronto anymore for that topic, but, like... Because the people at the top have been around for so long, it's a lot harder for the people building themselves up to get to that level. You know? what's it called? Sir. I think Sir and No ID have a collab project. Bro, the whole project is hip hop. The whole project is hip hop, and it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing, mixing that old with new, but advancing it forward. I feel like there's so much more we can do for real, but because we don't understand so much, or we don't take the time to understand, is the reason why we are stuck. But these two individuals, they're taking the time to understand, like, yo, we could do more than just this. Because we have so many of us that do this already. Why do we need to contribute to this even more, knowing that we can rely on the younger generation to make music at that level so that we can focus and work and figure out what we can do for other lanes to build different, like, substantial versions or substantial blocks of this base. You have pgLang as a base. You want to go into film. You guys can put the work in to go into film, since you don't need to rely on this so much. You guys are already hit makers. Let's be real. When Bodies drops, I know all I'm saying is Bodies is gonna be a hit. You can't tell me otherwise. He already previewed the song twice, and we've been needing that song. But that song's also gonna come along with a project. Bodies is going to make some waves that are going to be dangerous. But let me get back to the chat over here. He studied K-Dot and lesser than it was the first mistake. Europe was good, Quickie. Drake seems to think talent somehow relates to height, which is dumb of him. Facts. No, but actually, is there an age? Okay, I'm not dealing with the whole age thing, bro. This is ridiculous. Is he of age or not? Because they're busy worrying about someone else and what they're doing. Fact, Tiff. Big fact. As of right now, it is, to be honest. Yo, it is not. It is not dead. It's just that, okay, the way the hip-hop conversation, the same way how we're talking about if hip-hop is dead or not, is the same way how we're talking about if R&B is dead or not. It's literally the same concept over again, just with a different genre. It's not dead. It's not dead. We're just not looking. The answer is not changing. The same thing for R&B is the same thing for hip-hop. The tracks are out there. We're just not looking. That's it. That's all it is. Trust me, when people used to say hip-hop was, or when R&B was dead, I'm like, really? And then I go start typing in on Spotify and start looking and searching. And I found tracks. I'm not talking the traditional tracks of today. I'm talking people taking the vibe from the 2000s and the 90s and making it their own sound for today. There's plenty of people doing that. There's a whole plethora of them. There's playlists out there of people you've never heard of out there. It's just that they're not popular. That's what I'm talking about. If you're going to only focus on the 3 people at the top or whoever's at the top, especially with Drake, because he's been gatekeeping. If you just focus on these individuals, you're going to drown out everybody at the bottom, which is going to make it harder for people to climb. That's why when you have a friend in a city that's dropping music and you see them quit, I wouldn't even be surprised, because you understand how hard it is to get to the top now? It is so much harder to get to the top. And we're not even talking about back in the day. Back in the day, it was hard enough. But today, knowing that you have all these different possibilities and tools and resources that you use and it still doesn't work, yeah, it's tough as hell to get to the top now. It is tough as hell. I know I'm looking for sure. If he's under 18, he gotta go. I ain't gonna lie. I'm telling you, bro, big gatekeeping, no cap. But here's the thing: if you're only that, see, it's like you're making sense, but you're losing me. Cause like I understand what you're talking about when you say you're looking. But if you're only going to focus at the people at the top and not give the people at the bottom or people on their way up the time of day, how are they supposed to get to that level? Bro, like, I kind of want the music industry to revert back to the 2000s era, because it kind of makes it easier and it brings in more competition. It literally brings in more competition when you have multiple artists coming out with multiple hits. You have hits in every avenue that you go when you look at a different artist. Go back to that because it made things easier. The reason why they made it like that today, where all the hits are coming from one person, is because it's easier to manage this one person. And it's a lot less annoying than managing all these different people. If you keep everything in one home, where all the hits come from, it makes lives for everybody that works in the music industry so much easier. That's why you see people like 50 Cent, you see people like Lil Wayne, you see people like Kanye. Mind you, these are all businessmen, okay? They're barely in the music industry except for Kanye, but his brain is too all over the place. But like, if you continue to support the person that was making all the hits, it just goes to show you what you're really after. They're trying to continue to make their lives easier so they don't have to put in all this extra work to make things happen. That's the thing. I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be hard for me to keep up with this chat. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the problem is that there is a bunch of people waiting to see what direction this all will take. If people are waiting to see which direction this is all gonna go, you're gonna get left behind. You gotta start jumping and taking advantage of this opportunity. That's why I was saying, with everything that's going down with the whole beef, it's going to open a big door for a lot of indie artists to come through. Because since these two figures are clashing with each other, and someone clearly came out on top, yeah, that's cool. Like, now you have one winner. But watch this now. The other person, when he dropped his hits, they weren't hitting. That was literally a window of opportunity for somebody new to jump in. That was literally like, when I say there hasn't been a lot of windows of opportunities, but moments like that, you gotta take advantage of moments like that. But you gotta be aware of what's going on, inside and outside. You gotta be aware. You gotta be aware of all the people changing their seats, all the CEOs leaving and all that. You gotta be aware. That was another window, by the way. When you saw all those CEOs like stepping down and all that, that was another window for indie artists or just artists under labels to just have a breakthrough. That's one window, but the other window was when Drake fell. When Drake fell, that was another window too. Just put that out there. So it's all about, you gotta, in the music industry, you really gotta know how to seize a moment. So you can't just be an artist. You gotta also be like you gotta be well versed in analytics. You gotta be well versed in analytics to understand what's going on in the industry. Because you can make all the songs in the world. If you don't know what's going on, then you're never gonna really pop. Right? Still not hitting. The gap is still there for a breakthrough. It's valid, but it's small right now. The microwave method is over. Facts, big facts, is definitely over because, yo, like a couple of the YouTubers were saying, like, yo, people are afraid to drop now because they don't want to sound stupid no more. Even though they've been sounding stupid their whole career. Yo, Kendrick came out and made people be scared to put out music. That's literally another window to put out your music. Like, what? Come on. Those are 3 different windows I just described. Those are 3 different moments in music that happened recently for artists to put out their music. Like, yo, you can't make this up for real. Yeah, raw talent. You're speaking facts for real, bro. So when you dropping, I'm teasing. Seems like everyone in here is a massive hip hop. It's not even being about like a massive hip hop head. It's just understanding the genre. It's understanding the genre. It's not about like, it's about like, you gotta know this. Nah, bro. You just gotta be understanding your genre, understanding the industry, and understanding your opportunity to win. That's it. That's all it is. It's not dead, period. Say less, bro. It's not dead. It's just, you gotta be. It takes a lot to win now. That's the best way to put it. Because it's so difficult to win in the industry, it takes a lot to win now. It's not the same anymore. I heard, like, remember when Jalopy and a lot of other YouTubers were talking about a shift? That's the shift. But the shift is bigger than what you think. It's not just a shift in sound. It's a shift in work ethic and shift in how much work you got to put in now. Lyricism, that's valid too. No. Like, no, lyricism definitely matters. You know, but like that's just that's also a perspective thing too. Vori dropped? It's Thursday. When did he drop? The shift is people not dropping? No, that's not what I'm saying. The shift is the shift in sound. All the... How do I describe it? All the TikTok music. Everybody was loving all the TikTok music and all that. That's cool. But we're shifting back to more traditional sounds with hip-hop. With what you said, lyricism. Bro, I gotta check out Vori, because, yo, the reason why I'm such a Vori fan is because of 2 songs. He had a song with Friday that I loved, and also Vori has a song with Meek Mill off of his EP that I love too. Those 2 Vori songs are the reason why I'm a Vori fan. And Vori and Friday are like, they're so much alike, if we're going to be really honest. And I have love for both artists. It takes time to release quality. That's what artists starting to realize. Bro, artists should have been realized. But that just goes to show you that a lot of people weren't even dropping quality work. You got to think about that as well. You know? Let's keep going, though.
Again, gives us a little more insight into their method to their madness, right? And why everything has such a minimalistic approach and view. And I don't always agree with it myself personally, but I can understand a little bit more and appreciate it more. And it helps me.
I understand what you're saying. I get why you say false, but here's the thing. Based off of what you just said, which is true, why did it last for so long is my question. That was going to be the new wave. That's what I'm saying. Like, all those TikTok artists, all the people just dropping like mediocre sounds. Everyone just like, they just got a fire beat, but they're barely saying anything on it. Like, yo, that's been going on for such a long time, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. It's been going on longer than expected. Remember when Chief Keef dropped Macaroni Time? Y'all remember that time when he dropped Macaroni Time? That's an example of like, oh, it's just a one-off thing, right? That's a one-off moment where you drop something that's completely foolish, but it's kind of a bop. Taking that ideal and stretching it out and laying it out for all these years, it happened for a long time. That moment was such a long time. It shouldn't have lasted that long. But we got so comfortable in the sound that it rang off in clubs, all the same dudes. Like, I feel like that's going to be such a big explanation that might need a separate video. I'm not even going to lie. That's something that might need a separate video to explain, because that is a deep conversation that needs like at least 20-30 minutes of explaining, to be honest. The method is simplicity, to be honest. Not everyone is like you or me who wants to hear a piece of art. I'm not saying I wanted to hear a piece of art. I'm just explaining what is happening. Drake is not going away no matter how many people feel. It's not about going away. It's about like, is he going to change? Because it's the perfect storm of streaming, social media, and the internet in its prime. Fact, that is the Bermuda Triangle. That is why it lasted so long, and Drake was the face of it. Fact, Drake is not a giant. He has been gatekeeping and stealing talent like Space Jam. Facts, he's one of the monsters. He controls entire country of talent. Exactly. Canada is okay now. We gassing the ting. He's definitely a giant. Bro, you're not getting it, bro. You're not fully grasping what we're talking about. You're not fully grasping, because for you to say that, you kind of didn't really understand what I was talking about with the whole gatekeeping thing. Because raw talent understands when it comes to the gatekeeping thing, and I understand the whole thing when it comes to the gatekeeping thing too. And I also understand when it comes to Toronto talent, we don't have the kind of talent that's going to be substantial to make the change or to take over when Drake is gone. All right, I'm going to let y'all have y'all conversation, though. Let's keep going.
Understand where they're going with it. And I guess over time, we'll see how successful that approach is, you know, as they begin to apply it to different things and maybe even other artists and different types of media. The company's design sensibility extends to its digital presence. pgLang's website contains no mission statement or detailed descriptions, only a list of action verbs. This minimalist approach reflects what Free calls a no-yapping policy, a philosophy that emphasizes output over explanation. Yeah, I mean, you even seen that during the battle, right? No talking, none of that. We ain't doing no explaining, we ain't doing no talking. It's just diss track after diss track. Everything, right? Even post battle, no talking, pop out, no talking, maybe he do an interview, no talking, Super Bowl, no talking, GNX, output over explanation, and Kendrick has been shot.
That is a good thing to follow. That is such a good concept to follow. The no yapping policy, that is an incredible policy to follow. It just shows maturity. They're doing everything they can to get something out of you, and you're keeping it music. Danielle Franklin. Nah, let them have that conversation, because, like, maybe he can learn from this, because I know he's going to probably try to list some of the Toronto rappers, which is valid. But let's talk about the singers for a second. Let's talk about Division. Let's talk about Majid Jordan. Where's Four Bats? Still never heard from Four Bats ever since he signed the OVO. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Four Bats? He had a couple songs that went nice, but I haven't heard from him since. You know? Talk about those artists. Because I can't really look at Toronto rap right now because of the representation that we have. Courthouse Karen, I'm so dead. Alright, that's my fault then. Division is putting out mediocre work. He was for a bit, actually. Four Bats was actually signed for a bit.
Not an example of that. He ain't been explaining shit. He just been putting out the work, putting in the work. We see him in the picture right here, right? pgLang's work has also taken on a global dimension. Through a partnership with Global Citizen, the company...
Yo, Big Dog, don't put Party Next Door and Chris Brown in the same sentence like they're the same level. Don't do that. And Division can outperform Party Next Door. Stop. Yo, see what I'm talking about? Don't try me. You don't think Division is better than Party Next Door? Knowing that Party Next Door can barely sing? Bro, stop. Stop. Division? Stop it. Stop it. You know better. You know better. Me neither. He knew here. But you know better. I can literally compare their songs right now. Party Next Door is not better than Division in any way. Party Next Door is barely mainstream. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a stack. Anytime I mention Toronto's top artist, I don't mention Party. He's not done enough work. And the way he got used on the Drake album is it just shows that you're not main. I'm chatting is crazy.
He is involved in Move Africa, a multi-year touring concert series across the African continent. The series is intended to promote economic opportunity through creative production and artist engagement. This project expands pgLang's influence beyond U.S. markets and situates its operations within broader conversations about cultural development in the global creative industries. I didn't know that they was involved in that either, man. And so, you know, this whole narrative of Kendrick, what is he doing? What is he giving back? What is he? This is it right here, right? And this is just some of the stuff. But again, they're not just thinking, oh, we're going to do turkey drives in the neighborhood or in the usual small good things, mind you, but the usual things that people do. And then they like, oh, that's enough. They're doing things on a global scale and it's impacting people
Thank
on a
you,
global
TW.
scale. So when we say influence, this is what we mean by influence, right? To be able to influence things on a global scale. A separate Billboard report noted that Kendrick Lamar is under consideration for performance at the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. While no formal announcement has been made, sources cited pgLang's recent activity, particularly the pop out and the viral impact of Not Like Us, as contributing factors to Lamar's rising visibility as a potential Olympic performer. If selected, it will mark a shift in how large-scale global events consider artist-producer relationships in performance planning. Damn, yo. See, it's all making sense, man. I'm gonna read that one more time for the people in the back. Okay. When they talking about
Danielle
the
is
Summer
right.
Olympics and if he's a part of it, right? They said this. Because of the pop out, right, and the viral impact of Not Like Us as contributing factors to Lamar's rising visibility as a potential Olympic performer. If selected, it would mark a shift. All right, this is innovation. Innovation shifts things, right? This ain't just what DJ Academics was yapping about when it comes to Kanye. This is on a global scale, right? This is in much, much larger markets. But it says, if selected, it will mark a shift in how large-scale global events consider artist-producer partnerships in performance planning. All that bullshit people said about the Super Bowl, which we already discussed over and over again, about, people saying it was the worst and this and that and the other.
Yo, I just got to say this. Because y'all comments are helping me support my point when it comes to being known on a global scale. Party Next Door has been around for years, and there's still plenty of people out there that just never heard of him. But everyone's heard of Drake. Everyone's heard of Justin Bieber. Everyone's heard of The Weeknd. I will never put Party Next Door up there with any of them. Ever. And that's what I also talk about when it comes to when you have an artist in the city that's up next. Who can go around the world globally? Where everybody in any city can know them. Regardless if it's just a small amount or a large amount. Party Next Door cannot. He cannot go around the world like that. He's touched some areas on the globe, but not around the world. And I always say this anytime this conversation comes up. My favorite rapper, Key Glock. He's from South Memphis, and he's been around the world. Because his songs have been played everywhere. Bro, they have Chinese people juking. People in China, people in Japan be gangsta walking. You have people in India. Yo, what's that dude's name that did the Big Dogs track? Bro, that's literally, what's his name? That's Project Pat. That's Project Pat's flow. How did Project Pat make it all the way to India? And you got Key Glock making it to India. The world was gangsta walking. Juking, gangsta walking, however you call the dance. Either way, that dance, they were doing that for real. And it's not just in Memphis. Like, bro, I've seen people in Jamaica gangsta walking too. It's... Come on, let's wake up, bro. We need to develop people in Canada because how do we have a whole country and we only have about 5-6 artists that we are comfortable to let them go around the world? But then you have America. There's a plethora. There's a plethora. Like, Canada needs to do more work for real. We need to do more work for real. We don't do enough work in the booth. He ain't mainstream enough, bro. He ain't mainstream enough for real. I'm gonna pay you to host a party on your... That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. A release party? That's wild. Bro. No, you gotta be critical. If you're not being critical, you're running from the truth. There you go. Let's keep going.
Look at the impact that had. Look at the impact that the pop out had. The design, the artistry, everything, how they planned it, everything. Look at what it is leading to. It is leading to a shift in these markets and how global events, not just concerts, not just stadiums, not
Yo, TW, it's not just this year. If based on this article, it's gonna be for years to come. Literally based on this article, it's gonna be years to come for real. This year alone, I feel like he's gonna do a feature run on a couple projects just to show that he is reaching out with people and doing work with other people. But this what they're building here, something outside of music, is gonna go on for years, bro. It's gonna go on for years for real. This really gonna put Los Angeles on the map. That's a fact.
not just that small time shit. That's all good. But how global events like the Olympics, how they consider artist-producer relationships and performance planning. It's big time shit, man. Although still relatively young, pgLang's mom.
I feel like me and Jamel be seeing it from two different angles. Maybe that's why there's such a disconnect. Because I'm not looking at as like, oh, you've heard his music, he's an artist, like his music's popular, everyone sings it. I'm looking at a different level. I've been looking at this from a marketing level, and marketing, like speaking from that level, speaking from that like area, it's not good enough. Honestly, a lot of these examples, a lot of these people I'm talking about, I'm referring to them from an advertising and marketing level. Because that's what it takes to be famous now. You know? You can have the most talented person in the world, but if they don't know how to utilize themselves properly, it's not going to work. That's how I see it.
Model offers a distinct approach to content production and platform development. Rather than scaling through a single medium, the company distributes its work across sectors, combining entertainment, brand marketing, live performance, and global engagement into a fluid operational strategy. Whether pgLang's approach will influence other media and tech-adjacent ventures remains to be seen. Still, its emergence highlights how hybrid creative companies increasingly shape the boundaries between art, commerce, and infrastructure in today's innovation landscape. All right, and now let's go over here and we're going to look at the companies that they're up against. And this is actually the Fast Company site, okay? And we'll read this. As the world shifts and industries transform, the most innovative companies aren't just keeping up, they're setting the pace. Fast Company's annual look at the most groundbreaking companies in every industry and across the globe offers a snapshot of innovation today and a playbook for the future. Danielle, the companies on this year's top 50 list are making what once seemed impossible a reality. All right. Now, let's see. They got Waymo, NVIDIA.
So let me get this right. pgLang is on a list with NVIDIA, Nubank, the WNBA. Let me see who else.
Nubank, WNBA, BYD. These are some big companies, bro. A Bridge.
Duolingo?
Luxita. I don't know what the hell that says. Rocket Lab, Duolingo. YouTube's at number 11. DeepSeek, that's the AI. Canva is at 13. Notion, and then pgLang.
Oh, that's not Norton. That's something else. But yo, what? Yo, what are they working on? Yo, YouTube is number 11. What are they working on? Yo, that is crazy. Oh, they is that Robinhood? Yo, pgLang broke. Yo, wait. pgLang beat Robinhood? What are they working on?
Lang sitting right here at number 15 for building a creative empire because they give the reason for each one. Even when you go up to YouTube, it says for ushering internet creators into the living room, DeepSeek for sharing its AI efficiency. So pgLang is for building a creative empire. Nice. And I ain't about to go through all 50, but you see the top 20 is right there. All right. So look, man, I just thought this was an interesting story that I would bring to y'all. It gives us more of an understanding of Kendrick and Dave specifically, right? And their vision.
NVIDIA, the WNBA, YouTube, And pgLang is 15? What are they working on? What? I don't think y'all understand. I'm sorry. I'm just surprised. I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm just surprised. Oh my goodness. Yo, this is... Yo. I don't think people understand for real. Yo, wow. Yo. uh, Taking reaction requests. That's hilarious. Because I said keep your music to the side. People coming in with reaction requests. It Yo, Tiny, don't kill me. But yo, you cannot say Kendrick and Dave Free are not innovative when they're literally on a list with some of the greats in the industry. You cannot say that anymore. Get that idea out of your head. It's done. Let it go. Y'all just don't understand what's going on for real. Holy. They're working on everything. Honestly, it looks like it. It looks like it. And since they have music so like... They got music down right now. They're up. And when they're down, they're just going to focus on music again. Yo, that's incredible.
Not just for their careers, right? Not just for Kendrick's career as a rapper. And many people might think pgLang is just about another black record label that, whatever, you know, the traditional bullshit. Well, it's more than that. pgLang is more than that. They said it's a multilingual company. Multilingual. Okay, referencing its spoken language component and ability to communicate across forms: music, television, film, books, podcasts, and visual media. So there we have it, man. So pgLang is on a different label. This ain't just or a different level. This ain't just a record label. And
it's almost like you're taking say for example you're taking pgLang. You're mixing it with iHeartRadio. You're mixing with the Black Effect podcast, the podcast channel or group, and then you're mixing it with, for example, Lionsgate for film. Like, yo, that's... And the magical thing about all that is that it's all hip hop. It's just different art forms of hip hop. Honestly, another pillar that you can add to the other pillars of hip hop is film, television. Because there's been so many like collabs and so many crossovers where you have those moments and those elements, especially in the black sitcoms, where you have people from the industry be on those shows. So film would be another pillar of hip hop too. That is crazy. That is crazy. Holy.
This shows that Kendrick is thinking light years ahead. He ain't, even when it comes to the battle, we see that. But and I hate to do this, but I got to, man.
That's true. He did.
It shows how much more advanced
they did talk about Cash
he
App
is
in
than
this
Drake.
video, so I know
Drake
that
is
one
still
too.
thinking about these contracts with like UMG and stuff. Kendrick's thinking about how can I control and have an impact in media, multimedia, not just rap. I don't want to just have a label and bring in a couple artists. I want to have a global impact. I want to work with these global companies and these partners to try to see how we can have an influence on a much larger scale. So I don't know, man. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll check y'all in the next one.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that was a really good That was a really good video. That was a really good video. Make sure y'all subscribe to dude. And subscribe to me too. But that was a really, really, really good video. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm actually impressed with that one. I'm very impressed with that one. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. This is gonna be important. This one is going to be an important interview. Alright, what else we got? See what I'm talking about with clickbait? I'm not a fan of this because this doesn't make sense. Because I already looked into this. We literally looked into this yesterday. There's nothing about winning or nothing. That's why in my video title it says, did he win? I'm not saying, oh, he won. Nah, bro, that's clickbait. Insane. George Santos speaks on Ye is insane. What else do I got? I have a couple more videos that I might want to get into. Like I said, it's a slow day. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's a slow day today. There's not too many things. What's this one? False claim. Yo, y'all want to check out Big Kish? Y'all want to check out Big Kish? Let me know. I kind of curious about this video right here. Mr. Yo, 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 yo. What? I'm gonna check it out. Golly. What else we got? I think I had another video. Yeah, we were going to go into the Adam 22. How did I forget? How did I forget for real? Where is it? There we go. There we go. We're going to get into Adam 22 now.
So,
if we want to talk about somebody exploiting the culture, there we go. So let me